friends, and welcome to the re-recording of New on the Internet, the November edition. So if you watched the previous version, it was in a very noisy cafe. So I'm going to re-record the same insights, but without all of our fun ambient noise. Let's jump right in and get started. First up, Twitter. Just absolute dumpster fire, disaster, garbage town. On November 19th, a certain very controversial person was reinstated. Nothing super insane to report with that. Definitely insane stuff has happened. Elon rolled out the Twitter Blue program where you could buy your little blue check mark, your verification check mark, and absolute mayhem ensued, resulting in a pharmacy company having people impersonate them and losing a ton of money, stocks, and having to make public statements. It's been bananas, to say the least, including a lot of major corporate sponsors pulling out, or corporate advertisers pulling out of Twitter, which is something that I am a bit surprised by. But after the complete disaster that was the Twitter Blue $8 a month, get your blue check and pretend to be anyone you want fiasco, I can absolutely see why people that have lots of dollars are not interested in being impersonated on that platform, and also not giving it their advertising dollars. Alternatives to Twitter, if you're interested in finding a different space to be your brand online, Tumblr making a comeback. My mid 2000s college self is super amped. When I was recording this last week, I was saying that I was going to get a Tumblr account again and log in as my gift to myself. I have not done that yet, but this is definitely reminding me that I need to get in there and download Tumblr and see what's happening. App stores have reported that Tumblr has had a massive increase in download ship, as well as a big bump in time in app since all of the Twitter bananas have been happening. So that is understandable. And that's interesting to me, that seeing kind of that platform being revitalized, I think that's neat and kind of fun, especially since it's a platform that I really, really enjoyed using when it was at its height of popularity. So I'll be getting back in the Tumblr space. If you are going to be doing that, also drop a comment on this live stream recording once it goes up and let me know what your old or new Tumblr handle was. I think I can remember one of mine from college, so I'll drop that in a comment later. Another alternative is Mastodon. Mastodon is a German-based company that is claiming to be sort of this decentralized social media platform. It's server-based, so you set up a server and you create chats and topically related forums for people to have conversations. So it's somewhat of an old format, right? Like text-based forums, but you have a lot more control about how the different server functions, who can access it, what the content style is like. Hi, Renee. Oh, jump in the chat if you are watching this live. Tell me what your Tumblr handle was if you had one, or if you are excited about some of these alternatives to Twitter, or if you don't care, give me your feedback. But yeah, Mastodon is this decentralized platform that a lot of people are checking out and are interested in. It has pretty low, as far as like a social media platform is concerned, low usership right now because it's super new. So I'm interested to see what happens. It seems like a lot of people who are amped about like Web3 and crypto and stuff like that. Hey, Crispin, it's awesome having you guys here live for the re-record. But it's been neat to see what types of people are kind of migrating to Mastodon. A lot of techies, a lot of the people who are using Twitter are going that way, obviously. So we'll see if that platform continues to exist, or what its adoption rate is, or how it's received by people who maybe aren't as tech savvy, because it is, I would say, setup heavy, I guess. It's not necessarily the most newbie friendly, right? Like most other social media accounts, you make a login, you get in there, and you're in, right? Like there's a little bit more setup that goes on with Mastodon. Let's move on. Instagram. Uh, if you guys are watching live, drop in the chat what platform you use most for your brand currently, and we'll dive into that in more depth. I think a lot of you are on Instagram that I see in the chat list here. Crispin, I know you were working on doing some LinkedIn stuff this year, which is awesome. So Instagram has had a lot of new features that I think are funny. I feel like every month we're talking about this and I'm finding features that I think are funny and I'm just laughing about them on this recording. But important, important reminder, if you don't have dual authentication set up on your Instagram, please do that. Anytime major updates happen on any of the social media platforms, there's an increase in risk for security. No matter what, any platform, when they're doing major rollouts of new features and new functions, security is a problem and can be compromised when new features are being built. So make sure you have dual authentication. That's me, your internet mom, nagging you to set up proper safety protocols for all your accounts. Don't use the same password for everything. Change it once a quarter. Okay, good, good. All right, excellent. Creator features are happening on Instagram at a pretty high rate every month. I feel like we're talking about new features that are really tailored towards creators. This month, a big one that came out is portfolios for creators. So if you're a person who wants to maybe collaborate with other brands or work with people who are adjacent or also have sort of like an additional level of braggability to your profile and you have a creator account, you can add a portfolio. So what this is like a media kit. It's talking about why your brand is special, basically. It would be similar to if you are an influencer or content creator and you want to work with a brand, you would send them kind of your pitch deck or a PDF that has like, here's where I've been featured before. Here's what I'm an expert at talking about. Here's the kind of traffic that I can expect on my different posts and things like that. So you can create one of those within Instagram now. I think it's really interesting to see the app trying to be developed as like a unified surface for creators to talk about themselves, their work, and offer their services. I don't think that it's ever going to completely negate the need for a website. I think that sure, it can give people a brief overview of what you do, having a portfolio linked like on your Instagram page, like specifically right there. I think it can be really, really great. And it's definitely a tool to take advantage of if you have access to that feature. But if you don't, make sure that your website has all that stuff. I mean, like I'm talking to me right now as well. Because I just recently was asked for my portfolio of work and I was like, oh, that's a good question. I don't know if I have a portfolio that's in one unified place that I can send you. So absolutely take advantage of that feature on Instagram, but also have it on your website. Music in your feed. This is another new feature that Instagram rolled out, and I find it funny, I guess. You know, like I find these features funny, some of them. So this is something that's being tested out. You can add music over a single image, right? So like we all know, like you make a video or you make a slideshow or something, you edit content and you make a reel. You can add music to that or a single video, right? Like you can add a song to that. But now on any post, like a photo post, if you have a single photo, you can add a song to it to enhance your creative expression. I think that's kind of pointless and silly as far as a feature goes. I don't know what it's going to do for post distribution or anything like that, but I don't see the use case. Like, you post a photo and you put a song with it. Why would you not then just make a reel, like, with the photo, the song? I don't know. But you can't do it over multiple photos. So carousel posts where you have a slide through of multiple photos, you can't add the song to that. So it's a new feature. I know a few months ago that we talked about the fact that Instagram was maybe going to add the option to put a song in your profile, which is very like 2003 MySpace vibes to me, which, I mean, Gen Z is all about that weird millennial nostalgia, like Y2K type aesthetic. So maybe that's what Instagram is sort of catering towards. But yes, trying to integrate music into more spaces within the app is definitely a common feature update that we've been seeing over the last few months on Instagram. LinkedIn, or should I retitle it the features that I didn't know didn't exist? Because every month I look up the new features for LinkedIn and I read their like announcements for what they've added, and I'm always shocked that those are new features, not existing features. So this month, you can now verify as a business page if an employee works there or not. Like, you can actually like check like, yep, they work here, or like add like a little verified like, yes, this employee definitely works here. I had no idea that was not a feature already on LinkedIn, and I find that a little bit shocking. So I could have just said I worked anywhere until now, I guess. Maybe I still can. Maybe I can still falsify my work history. I did not realize that. I thought that that was something that you had to like. I mean, like, I've vastly the accounts that I am like have my work history. I've run those accounts. So I guess I've never really experienced it as like purely an employee in a corporate setting where I'm like, I work at Apple. I assumed you just had to wait for them to be like, yes, you work here. But that's not the case. It is now. Verification is now a thing, but it wasn't before. You can also, on your activities feed on LinkedIn, now filter it a little bit more specifically by like comments, replies on posts, replies on your comments on posts, likes, things like that. So you can filter your activity feed a little more, which I find really useful if you're going to be like as your business account or your personal account and you're looking to spend a short amount of time on LinkedIn and you want to be really impactful. So you like, I want to reply to comments on posts that I shared. Boom, you can go in your activity feed and find that now. I that feature should have rolled out to most people. I haven't seen it in mine, but I have seen it on some other people's accounts when they were doing like screen shares of it. So it's coming. Like always, I seem to be the last one to get feature updates on different platforms. So who knows? And then another thing that's been happening across LinkedIn, this isn't necessarily like a feature update. This is more of like a moment, is at the bottom of some posts, you'll see a little message from LinkedIn that says, did you find this post valuable? And there's like a little survey, like 5 questions or something like yes, or I hated it, or whatever it says. But it's gauging whether or not you found that post really relevant to you or insightful or exciting or important to be shared. And this is worthy because to me, that means that they're working on their content suggestion algorithm. So they're trying to make recommendations and your feed even more specific and relevant, because the more relevant content you're seeing, the more likely you are to stay in the app, in the platform long term, right? If we're scrolling on Instagram and everything we're seeing is stuff we enjoy, we're going to continue staying there. Same thing with LinkedIn, right? If everything you're seeing is like relevant, insightful, important, or thought provoking, you're going to keep scrolling. You're going to stay in the app. So, Instagram, LinkedIn is surveying users about how they're enjoying the content. So that means they are behind the scenes working on fixing their content suggestion tool. So whether or not that's going to actually short term or long term impact how content gets recommended to different users stands to be seen. To me, it's definitely an indication that like they want to improve it. They want it to be better and they want to know what users' behaviors are beyond just the data that they can pull. They're asking for like, people to self identify of if they like something or not. That's interesting, right? Like that's good. That's going to be interesting for the future because I think LinkedIn's algorithmic post suggestion tool or the feed ranking can sometimes be really weighted, right? Like I go look at someone's profile one time, I see every post they've ever posted in the last 6 months in a huge chunk. So obviously there's some work that they could be doing. Finally, YouTube. Let's talk about that real quick. And then I'll open the floor to your questions because we've got some people here live. So if you have questions, start typing those about any of the platforms, any updates. We can just use this time to chat and solve some marketing stress for you. But YouTube, handles. Yes. So you have to be invited to add a handle to YouTube. It's your username. So I finally got invited to use mine and I was really, really amped. It's at badaxe.enterprises, in case you're looking. And I was excited because to me, this is going to make it really, really easy for people to cross promote their content and to share it amongst other platforms, as well as it's way easier to search for a creator now. Like anybody who's claimed their handles and they've told them to me, like I asked a couple people who I knew had added handles, what's your new YouTube handle? And just searching the handle, amazing. So Crispin asked, can you explain more about handles? So YouTube is rolling this feature out. A lot of people have already gotten the invite to add a handle. A handle is a username. So instead of having to type in your full channel name or get the really ugly like channel.56, backslash whatever, and just like ugly numbers or a bunch of dashes in between your name, it's just youtube.com/@ your username. So I'll show you mine. I'm dropping it in the chat here. So that is what my YouTube handle looks like. It's also really nice because when you're typing a comment, you can use that now in a much easier way to tag people in a comment on your own videos, on other videos. There's another feature that's been rolling out to creators that I have access to, finally, is to make posts on YouTube. Most accounts who, like if you have a channel, you can make a post now, and those get sent out to your subscribers. I am really excited about this, right? I don't feel like this is going to be a negative for YouTube because you can use your handle, you can drop it in a post and kind of announce what's going on, and other creators can do the same. It makes it really easy to cross promote. So I was just part of a shared playlist where a bunch of different YouTube creators, we all made a shared playlist around a similar topic. And when you watch the playlist through, it's like a really big detailed dive into this topic. And our topic was virtual events and how to make them not suck, basically. So, I have a video and someone else has a video and we're all together in it. Now we can create posts and just tag each other by our handles versus typing someone's name out and then posting the link underneath, right? It makes it a lot more streamlined. It makes it a lot more search friendly and just nicer for cross promotion. Cross promotion is really, really big with getting, your videos seen by a wider audience. It's a really useful thing to do. I I'm amped. I think YouTube really typically does a good job of listening to its creators and trying to make updates that are useful, logical, and helpful to them for the most part. Everybody's had missteps. I think this one is heading in the right direction, making content more shareable, easier to find, more search friendly. I mean, YouTube is backed by Google, so they know how to do search rankings and how to make good searchable libraries of content. Anybody else have any questions? Those are the major updates for New on the Internet, the November edition. Grateful that you guys were able to tune in live. If you are listening to the recording of this as a podcast later, you should definitely come in and take part in the live sessions because we have a lot more fun, as you've heard. And you can ask questions live about the different updates. You can do that exclusively through BadX Biz Club, which is free to join, and you'll find a link in the description of this podcast episode. If you're watching on YouTube, join us in the club. We have a ton of fun. All right, anybody else with any questions? Any other participants? No? I don't see anybody's little typing icon going off. So I'm going to call it. If you do have questions, feel free to comment on this post, send me a message, or make a separate post in the community using the appropriate topic. If you have questions about a specific social media platform or just in general, select that topic and I will get you answers. Till next time, stay badass.